007X's Gragas being considered, it is going to be locked in.
So Thresh, not first rotated. We said that Bangkok Titans love to do it. This time around, they're not deciding to go for it. We'll see whether the Chiefs take it away.
So they usually go Thresh Gragas as their first two champions, but because there is an Elise and a Rek'Sai taken off the map already, they default to the next best jungler for 007, maintain that early aggression. Spooks can play Echo if you'd like. He can default
I
to...
actually think Spooks prefers Echo
yeah.
on the current patch,
So all these bans would actually favor him, but again, for 007's sake, for his maybe lack thereof jungle champions, they prioritize the Gragas over the Thresh. This unlocks the capabilities of it for Ejim, but there's always going to be the Alistar up at the moment.
Yeah, that's a very good point. The fact that the Victor banned away on the blue side here as well, interesting stuff, considering what Froskerin was taking us through as far as those choke points on the blue side of the map. But you can see the Chiefs taking some time. Only 6 seconds to go to lock in their first two picks. Maokai and Thresh are going to be taken away here. So very standard, not going to be giving too much away.
Yeah, I like this. They've already denied the Shen from Warlock. Taking away the Maokai is just another teleport-heavy top laner that they can use. And you also see the Thresh has joined it.
Yeah, and of course the Gnar could be something that Warlock can default to. Played that one a few times. Very sort of standard meta picks up there in the top lane for this guy. Not going to see the Lee Sin this time around, I don't think. I really hope we do.
I have no words
what was it?
for you,
Teleport
sir.
Smite? Teleport Smite Lee Sin? Was
yeah,
that it?
Cinderhog teleport.
And
Smite
you just
Lee Sin.
couldn't work out what it did.
You can dream.
I seem
You
to
can
remember
dream
that
you'll
being,
see it again.
it was this
It
big
was
challenge.
perplexing.
You were curious about it, I believe.
Wow.
That was an in-joke. I apologize, everyone. But G4, we're going to grab the Ahri. 14 seconds to go. Kog'Maw's going to be locked in, and there's the Ahri as well. They could have grabbed the Lulu. Interesting.
I actually like the fact that they took the Kog'Maw because right now you have a look at the Chiefs squad and they have a lot of PL. Lulu Kog on top of that would have been devastating.
Very
and they're always able to rotate a last pick. And now all of a sudden the Chiefs still have to look at it because Warlock can maybe play it in the top lane. And there's a kind of protect the Kog'Maw on the other side of the map.
Yeah, not only that, they got rid of the Ahri from Swiffer, and we were watching him play his first game as Swiffer. It was only, first game as Ahri, it was only Victor beforehand. And when he was on Ahri, he felt like a completely different person. He was unlocked, he was assassinating everyone. So G4 can pick the assassin himself and deny that pick from Swiffer.
And there is a mid laner on your screen. You can see throws his head back in anguish. Another new pick. This is horrible. What do I go to?
Vladimir Nunu. Vladimir Nunu right here, boys.
No, thank you.
Twisted Fate. Lee Sin.
Well, Echo is going to be considered first up. 1 second to go. The Sivir locked in. And the Chiefs, unless Swiffer has put in the time to learn the mid lane Echo, it is probably going to be Spooks' jungle pick, and we'll save Swiffer till last.
515 as well, so AP Echo not as prevalent as you would otherwise imagine, of course. 516 is the patch where you will actually see more AP Echoes than you will now. Most likely going to be on Spooks. He's the only Echo player of the team as well.
That's a very good point.
And
I think the fact
Swiffer
that
takes
Swiffer
about
doesn't
3
play it,
years to learn a new champion. So the fact that Echo was out this year, not in the Chiefs'
No,
favor.
it was only like 12 months to learn Azir. He really stepped up
And
on
it was
that
only
front.
after the IWC where we realized it was really good.
Well, in fact, it's still left up. Could play that one here, considering
that's
the
true.
fact that they'll have massive amounts of wave clear. Of course, Azir Sivir. Fantastic wave clear duo. As there's Brad being hovered here by Moss.
So this team comp, if they do lock this one in, is very similar to something they have done earlier in this tournament. And it didn't really work out for them all too well because the execution has to be doubled up really perfect to make sure that an engage worked at all. So going for the Alistar opposed to the Bard is actually the best scenario for them.
Yeah, but you feel in a 2v2 situation right now, unless they get the lane pushing early, Sivir, Thresh.
Yeah.
If there's a bully lane, especially under turret that I've seen, that is going to be one of them. And we'll see what the mid laner out of the Chiefs wants to take as a last pick.
But of course that says lane swaps from Bangkok Titans already, and we'll see if the Chiefs can deal with that accordingly, maybe look for the standard lanes.
Do you
But
want
with
to let Ejim roam around the map? Are you going to give him
yeah,
a lane
well,
swap?
I invite you to try.
Yeah.
Given that the last picks remaining here, though, for Swiffer, he knows he's against the Ahri. They don't have a lot of peel, but they're looking more so to just dive. You could default to an Orianna style of mid laner.
So, Swiffer actually plays Diana. This is something
He
that
does.
I'm going to bring up. And he also plays Fizz. So this isn't... Ahri's not the only assassin that he's happy to play, and both of them don't have a bad laning phase against Ahri, especially if you go for a second door answering. So we'll see whether he wants to go with something like that, or he goes for an old favorite.
Wow, Twisted Fate's going to be locked in. Swiffer even taking the teleport here as well.
You kind of have to. It's a horrible laning phase. You know how I said the other two have an okay laning phase? Twisted Fate does not have a good laning phase against Ari.
Hey, but he can stun the target so that Ejim just come along and death sentence him.
They have a really good level 2.
Yeah.
Sure. Level 1's pretty good as well, but the Twisted Fate has been banned away from him in this tournament. The first time we're going to see that from him in the International Wildcard Qualifier. He's a very scary Twisted Fate, but he's also into a losing lane, as you mentioned, and G4's made the adaptation himself.
Well, that's actually really good for the Twisted Fate. All of a sudden, he doesn't have the Ignite to worry about. So we'll have to see whether G4 still has the damage to be able to get the solo kills that he will be looking for throughout this mid-game, or whether Swiffer can just push out his lane, leave, and try and get Radier rolling.
Yeah, we'll see whether he can. Of course, I think the adaptation of the teleport switch over there from G4 is interesting because I thought the point of an Ari in lane is to be punishing, is to be dominating,
it's not
trying
even
to
that.
go in.
As the game goes on, wants to be able to split push, wants to be able to have the kill pressure throughout the entirety of the game. And the teleport helps your other aspect of split pushing, which is being able to join the team fight on the back end, but doesn't give you that 1v1 potential.
Well, we'll see how it works. Of course, Swiffer known for being able to move around the map on his Twisted Fate, make things happen, especially in the top lane. And now that you've got the setup CC of a Maokai, we've spoken about this before, Swiper and Swiffer have been doing this for years. This is the tried and true way to get themselves ahead.
Certainly, it's what they'll default to when it comes to team fighting. So you look at the Chiefs team comp right now, this is standard Chiefs. They've got the Echo, which is a uniquely strong champion for Spooks. He's not known for the over-aggressive engages unless he's on a champion like Elise or Lee Sin, but Echo fits that trend actually quite nicely.
Yeah, it certainly does. They played it against Dark Passage, I believe, in the final game they played yesterday, and were able to use it to great effect. It's just the zone control it gives the Chiefs another option. Yeah,
most certainly is. We are going to have a pause to lead us into the game, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to be getting onto the Rift as soon as we possibly can. We just need to wait until the sepia mode has been removed.
Of course, unfortunate having sepia on your screen.
It's better than grayscale, my friend.
Look, it is actually. Depending
I like grayscale. Gives me extra time to shop.
Yeah, it sounds like a Game of Thrones reference. Sorry.
Wow. Wow.
Yep.
That was deep.
Yeah,
anyway, so let's get back to the team comps.
That went so deep.
Yeah, so the way that the Chiefs actually use the Twisted Fate is that they will gank its lane fairly often. So they'll send Spooks into the lane to try and chunk out the lane and then send Swiffer somewhere else. And what that does, it allows them to push out before they do it, because it's actually really scary to push out your lane as Twisted Fate solo so you can disappear. And otherwise you just lose your turret. And they will be aggressive. Like, if anyone watched the finals, Swiffer spent a lot of his teleports underneath turrets to get things started up. And that's why they use it with the Sivir, with the Maokai, these things that can push forward in lane. So the counter gank is much harder to execute.
But to contrast that, the laning of G4 is super aggressive. He will keep Swiffer under the turret. And this is where the opportunity is available for the Chiefs. But keep in mind that if G4 is keeping Swiffer under the turret, 007 is then in the jungle of Spooks, and it becomes a lot more difficult to actually get a gank on the middle lane when the Gragas, when 007 is watching you and watching your every move to prevent it.
Yeah, and that's why I just cannot see a lane swap coming out of these guys right now, right? With the Nara, especially in the top lane, will just be so much easier to execute their game plan in the 2v2.
It'll be very, very scary. But ladies and gentlemen, we are onto the lift. Onto the rift for Game 2 between the Bangkok Titans and the Chiefs. And I am... The look on Spawn's face right now is heartbreaking. But the Chiefs and the Bangkok Titans not going to be going for any invades at this point. I doubt the Chiefs would be going for another one. It was pretty heartbreaking the last time we saw that, speaking of which. Of course, they did manage to win the game, so that was fine.
It gave them half of their kills at level 1, basically. But
yeah,
both teams fanned out to a degree. Bangkok Titans seemingly poising their bottom lane to avoid the bottom lane of the Chiefs, because they do not want that.
I actually think they know the Chiefs were going to go towards the top side of the map, so the Bangkok Titans were getting ready to scout that, but then they bumped into the Maokai, so the mind games from Swiper, all of a sudden, they were like, maybe they're not up there. Maybe they're on the other side of the map.
Chiefs do this every time as well. Raider just runs into the lane, and sometimes Ejim shows himself, sometimes Swiper does. So, bit of mind games.
Just getting his reflexes ready. Of course, having a bit of a dance, loosening up. No problem. We'll see whether he's doing it on the desk if he comes up in the player cams. Spook's wandering around. Looks like he's not going to have any friends around his jungle just yet. Swiper heading over there, so we'll see whether he's going to help him out.
And it is going to be a lane swap. It's successfully achieved. So we said Bangkok Titans probably don't like this. It unlocks Ejim, especially if they give him another level 2, Rusty.
Oh my goodness, are they doing it right now?
I'm going to say maybe.
I think they are, because they just let him take the experience from the little frog. Gold card already used here as 007X. Down to about half health, but him and Warlock are going to be able to take down this jungle relatively effectively.
So the other thing they actually did is gave the little Raptors over to Swiffer, so he's got the early experience. Ejim's got level 2. The Wolf's going to be taken. And if I've seen any IWC play, there's going to be a gank mid lane.
Contrast that though, Gragas and Nara nearby, and Ejim has changed up his strategy a little bit to see where the jungle has started. So he knows they're at the Wolves, and if he looks to make a hook mid lane, he's going to be a little bit more careful about following it up too aggressively. But he's in.
Yeah, wandering down.
Oh
Death
my
lands,
God.
counts the juke there as well as the gold card comes in. Flays back, ignites down, wanders out of the way of the Orbit Deception, but he's not going to fall this time. G4 back to base.
And he's going to be able to teleport back in, so G4 won't miss too much. Swiffer didn't flash auto attack. You feel he probably could have secured that one, but didn't want to go too aggressive because he knows that Ari's got a pretty good lane.
And again, the flight risk of actually seeing where the jungle and top lane duo were before going for that indicates you do not dive, but you put down the pressure. And Ejim just doesn't know how to miss hooks. I don't think that's actually a part of his...
Reading the juke like that as well was fantastic. Missed a cannon creep, so that's exactly what the Chiefs have achieved.
Actually missed 3 creeps under turret there.
Whoa. Dangerous.
It's unfortunate.
That's a big deal.
And it's going to push back into Swiffer, and you think for the next couple of minutes until he gets level 6, that's exactly where he wants it. He's got the summoner spells available to be able to follow up on another gank, although credit to G4, didn't burn the flash.
Yeah, it's actually a big deal considering that Ejim's going to be roaming around everywhere possible, making some big plays, getting those hooks that he seems to always connect. But as per usual Chiefs lane swap, we've got ourselves in the 4v0 like we're in Season 3.
Well, you know, it's warm down the Oceanic region, so you're not going to be freezing all that often. So fast push does seem to make a little bit more sense.
That was atrocious.
Yes,
And it's actually not. What? We're in the middle of winter.
I'm just talking about, you know, the thing that people assume. We've got lots of beaches and stuff. Oh, God.
I feel like I'm between an arguing couple. That's what this feels like.
How it works
Yeah, you are.
I'm like the marriage counselor right now.
Tell us how you feel.
No, please don't, Atlas. Let's keep it to the game.
Well, 10CS lead for Swiffer here
Another
in the
gank in the mid lane.
Yeah, everyone. Parallel Convergence is down. There's the flash. Spooks takes a cheeky auto attack. Phase dive going to get him to the minion wave.
Yeah, forcing the flash out again. If G4 had used that earlier from the pressure that Ejim had placed onto him, would most likely be in a very bad position, potentially dead. So, again, very smart of him to save that summoner spell moving into the next gank. But that usually indicates a third one coming up shortly.
And once again, Bangkok Titans didn't get the bottom lane turret. This is what happened in game point 5, where they bounced the wave and then tried to 2v2. And in the end, they actually successfully zoned Radier off a lot of creep. So we'll have to see if that is once again successful this time around.
Radier going to discover the fact that there is no support hanging out in that brush. Lloyd going to be moving away here.
Do you not like game
He was
point
looking
5?
for the jungler, to be honest with you. They saw
I
out
think
the
it's
star
fine.
on
I think
top.
it's fine. I don't think I have any right to judge at this point.
You two. So I'm making a point here.
Sorry, Rusty, continue.
Okay, he was actually looking for 007 because he was the one without vision. They saw Moss in that top lane from the ward Swiper placed. So he was being very careful and with good reason, not just throwing out blind boomerangs.
Glad someone still has their mind on the game. Ejim waiting for another hook here in the mid lane as Swiffer continuing to push out.
Ejim's been mid. This is the 3rd time now. Continuing to try and pressure G4. Swiffer still hasn't been back, but a lot of members in the bottom lane will mean that Radier has to back away.
A level advantage here as Moss level 3 as well as Ejim. So Ejim, although he's been spending a little bit of time in the mid lane and not quite making it work out, still hasn't a level disadvantage too much in comparison to his direct opponent.
Lloyd, of course, not the primary carry of this Bangkok Titans side, so to see him doing well means a lot for this team because G4 looks to assassinate people, and if they can maintain that consistent damage, the reliable carry, I will say, of the Bangkok Titans, Lloyd, then they're in a comfortable position for skirmishing, which will come up with probably the sheen out of the Kog'Maw after this phase.
As you can see, Swiffer teleported back to the lane there, now has himself a Sheen and some boots. Destiny available as well, as he has hit that level 6 mark. We'll see where he goes first on his journey. Teleport available for G4 as well, and he's keeping it, not using it to get back into the lane.
Yeah, so they actually used 007X to catch the CS, and now as the Chiefs members look towards the bottom, there will be a teleport available out of G4, so they need to be so careful if they commit to this. Viper also pushed top lane, so all of a sudden, Warlock has a chance to freeze. And the Chiefs, even though they took the first turret, can't get much momentum anywhere else on the map.
Which means they should force a dragon. Realistically, if Warlock is going to freeze onto Swiper, we don't know if he's actually freezing or just slow pushing it back himself. A nice hook from Ejim.
Yeah, just sentence on the Moss. He gets headbutted back to Ejim as the Pulverize comes in onto the Thresh. Spooks makes his way in. Destiny's down. Parallel Convergence not going to find anything here as Swiffer going to get caught out of position just a little bit.
So what they did is they waited for the blue buff to come up before they went for the dive. Didn't work out exactly because Moss was the split target focus, but they will be able to start shoving into this turret.
Yeah, it felt like they just wanted to put down damage and try and break some kind of even lane. It was definitely a desperation attempt in terms of how much effort they put into it for their reward. And Swiper's still going to be able to farm from this. So if you consider how it worked out, everyone still gains. The dragon is worth looking at because Swiper's actually walked down and will have the teleport to go back top if Warlock tries to push it in, and they'll just get the blue buff themselves. So it's up to them if they'd like to make an aggressive decision or just leave it as it was an ultimate, didn't work out, but I've got it up eventually again anyway.
Yeah, exactly right. So they don't really need to give much away. If anything, it gave Swiper a much needed level 6, and now he can go back top lane. And there is a lot of pressure on the Dragon area for the Chiefs now, so they will think twice before freezing out that lane, Bangkok Titans, but this impresses me, the way they deal with the 2v1, how they don't take down the turret, but just continue to pressure the 2v2 lane, just shows how much confidence Lloyd and Moss have in their laning ability.
That being said, at this point, 4CS down is Lloyd, who was at a massive advantage in game point 5, if you remember, against the Tristana of Radia. Clearing out this wave quite nice.
And once again, you feel it's not really about the AD carries in that game. It comes down to what the support members are doing. And in that game, that Moss was on the Thresh, it was Ejim on the Alistar. And Alistar, whilst very durable, good at repelling ganks, doesn't really add much to a laning phase. And you can see that's been exactly the case this time around as well.
Raider's boot choice as well. He's going for that early move speed, looking to take down some turrets, or again, looking for a lot of rotational play around the map. So you can see from itemization choices already from Swiffer as well, they are looking to make plays.
Definitely not available. Neither is the teleport from Swiffer, so they need to make sure they're in position for this. It looked like Moss was back in base. Dragon reset. It's going to be dangerous for the Chiefs. It's taking a long time.
Down to about half health now here as G4 decides doesn't want to use any teleports or anything like that. You can see there is a pink ward around. Moss trying to find his way in. He's going to be secured as the Dragon.
Teleport's
not going to be found here as teleport is in fact coming in. Ejim headbutted back, forced to use the flash. Spirit rushes down. There's the death sentence. What was that charm? Going completely the wrong direction. Doesn't matter. Double kill with one barrel for 007X. Swiper forced to use the flash gold card to disengage his Warlock. He's about to be the Mega Gnar. They're looking for it. Arcane Smash is there. Living Artillery's flying left, right, and center. These Wildcards doing some work as there's the Arcane Smash once again. But Bangkok Titans, 3 swift kills.
Watch Gragas.
It took so long for the Chiefs to do that Dragon. It meant that they were able to brute force their way into position there, the Bangkok Titans. They come up absolutely massive. And I don't think the Chiefs were expecting G4 to go that aggressive and 007X to follow.
So Swiffer's mid right now is not even able to help in that engage, and they're just fighting again. Another teleport bottom.
Yeah, fight in the bottom lane. G4 going to use the teleport there. Swiffer gets the gold card down. Radia able to get some damage across, but they're quite low. Swiffer, no mana left, does still have the flash. The heal's down as well. Ejim's going to get a death sentence onto Lloyd, but there's 4 members of the Bangkok Titans here. Ejim taking so much damage. Spooks makes his way forward. Going to pick up the kill onto Lloyd. It is going to be Ejim falling down, but Warlock's quickly to follow. Moss now in trouble. There's the Z-Drive resonance from Spooks. Locks down a triple.
Spooks just goes off in that fight. He's the sole reason that even turned around into their favor. He took the Dark Passage to get into the middle.
007X.
For it, right in, not even scared.
But again, the fact that Echo could get into the middle of the fight, not have to use any spells to close distance because of the Threshed Lantern. I can't believe they won a fight when Swiffer had no mana and Radiator had no health or mana himself. But they actually play around, in particular Radiator's Spell Shield, perfectly. He saved that for the Cogmore passive when he was exploding, of all things.
And that means that the top lane will push back in Swiper's favor. You got to remember, Warlock was down there for the fight. Not a bad CS advantage in the mid lane right now for Swiffer, who was able to use the ult to get down there and the teleport to get back to lane. So even though 007X came up with the hero play after that dragon fight, Spooks comes up with one of his own.
He certainly does, Spawn. Dark Passage is going to get Radiant into this bottom lane. Moss and Lloyd awaiting their return, as Lucidity boots have been completed by Swiffer here as well, so we're going to have that Destiny up relatively quickly.
Yeah, going for the ultimate everywhere style of build, and has the teleport to boot if need be, as we saw him use before to get back to lane. And I think the fact that that one particular fight actually turned around in the Chiefs' favor, that honestly they had no right winning, suddenly the map has actually opened up in their favor through CS leads from teleports being used from the middle and top laners. And now they've actually got picks, so items are starting to come out from these guys, in particular, the jungler.
Yeah, well, most certainly. 3 kills out of the 3 that the Chiefs have picked up. Does have the Cinderhulk now completed, as well as that Sightstone, going towards some Mercury spreads by the looks of things as well. As G4 is going to take away a blue buff. And I just find it so interesting, the fact that the Chiefs picked that really scrappy fight once again in the bottom lane. They weren't thinking about their game against Detonation Focus Me, and they managed to come out ahead. It's what we thought that the Chiefs wouldn't be able to achieve in this game.
Yeah. Once again, they probably shouldn't have won that fight. Just want to reiterate that.
That's the thing. That's what Bangkok Titans, that's their MO. They win fights that they shouldn't have any right winning.
Yeah,
understand. The shoes are on different feet.
Swiffer is having a really rough time in laning phase because G4's picked up that blue buff and is Aru, so can pressure past the minion wave to the point where Swiffer's last hitting becomes under tower or very risky to do because you face a potential charm. Ejim, he's posturing for the middle lane. They want to catch out this Ahri.
Yeah, and that's why they're keeping Spooks there as well. They're just making sure that if G4 does push past, they have a way to make him pay. Oh, Spooks.
That was cute.
Pinches the Wraith.
Well, he can when he's this far ahead.
Radiant with the BF sword doing what Sivir does best and making sure that Cogmore is just laning against a minion wave, not against a person at all.
And he's going for a very aggressive itemization build because he's looking to fight maybe not for the next dragon or not when he hits his real power point, but afterwards, shortly afterwards, when he gets the Infinity Edge before he goes, not the Avarice Blade style of build that a lot of Sivers actually tend towards. So looking to team fight, looking to be as strong as possible for his team pretty much now.
Well, he's going to go grab that Lich Bane. 128 to 130 CS, so G4 able to pull out ahead. Caustic Spittle not going to find Radiant there as Ejim back into this lane. With the Moby boost as well, so he can move around this map very quickly. Recharge the Sightstone on his last back.
Keeping in mind when a Twisted Fate is even, much like the Gangplank we saw in the last game, he's actually ahead. Yeah.
So I want to see where the Chiefs go next. They got the first dragon. Does that mean they can sack the next one, go towards the top lane? We know what Bangkok Titans are going to do. They've got the Fade Sheen. That's such a power point right now for Lloyd. Even a finished Black Cleaver in the top lane just means that he's a little bit scarier because he will be doing some physical damage. And the Twisted Fate can really pick the part of the map that he wants to try and open up. And right now, Bangkok Titans are very resilient in their defense.
And I want to point out as well the fact that while this has all been going on, Swiper has built himself a 25 CS advantage here on the Maokai. Hasn't been back for quite some time, has himself 800 gold in his back pocket. And the Chiefs going to take a free turret in the mid lane.
Working around Ahri and recall timing to pick up a very easy turret for them. Again, a lot of focus from the Chiefs has been around this middle lane. It's been around getting Swiffer going so that he can impact everywhere else by being that Twisted Fate, using the ultimate or the teleport to get around the map. And because they've put a lot of pressure down there. Oh, nice.
Wildcard's not going to find it.
That was really aggressive out of Swiffer. Yeah. When you have a body slam next to the target that you're going for, generally not advised to throw that card, but, you know, makes it work.
Not pretty comfortable on this Twisted Fate as well. Understands that, you know, Swift on his feet, understands the walking animation. I don't know how that works. Yeah.
It's been banned from him. He's just a very competent Twisted Fate player. Knows his limits very well.
Yeah. That should not generally be it when there's a Crackers hanging around. And there's an Ari, but backs are going to be successful here for the Chiefs as Moss is trying to grab some positional advantage, some vision around the map as well. Couple of pink wards to be cleared.
But let's take stock. There's a Trinity Force, there's a needlessly large rod, as well as an amp tone on the mid laner. Right now, Bangkok Titans, even though down in gold, are absolutely massive and effective items as Spooks goes in.
Yeah, looks for the phase dive onto Moss, but not going to find anything else.
Spooks will continue to be aggressive. He can afford to by having that ultimate. He's so tanky that it doesn't even matter. He won't really take damage. But
for the support.
Whoa!
Yeah, Lloyd down to about 300 health here as the box is
Teleport
down.
behind.
Yeah, Bangkok Titans looking to find their way in Warlock without too much of a rage bar. There goes G4 over the top. The teleport's in from Swiper. Radiant, he's just all on his own. Lloyd not going to go down to that one. As Swiffer's trying to pick up the kill. Doesn't get it, and both of the carries from the Chiefs are dead.
The hero play out of Moss. What an exhaust onto the mid laner out of the Chiefs. They pick up another 2 kills. This is not what the Chiefs need to be going for. Swiper, stay at home. Push top lane turret. Take the mid laner there. As now Spooks might be a bit caught out.
Yep, fighting a cow. Dragon is going to go
No
down
reason to fight for Dragon number 2. They had position around the map.
And again, they're behind in items, so you don't fight against the Trinity Force Kog'Maw when you have the makings of an Infinity Edge yourself, not the actual item. Twisted Fate going in has a lot of mobility and utility behind his items, but the raw damage isn't there yet, to the point where the exhaust denies the kill by about 100 HP.
And once again, you know, they pick up a scrappy team fight here, Bangkok Titans. They get the bottom lane turret off the back end of it. They get the Dragon. All of a sudden, they're in complete control of this game. When this should have been the Chiefs really trying to execute the macro ability of a Twisted Fate, being able to teleport into the other lanes.
Well, has been able to pick up a little bit more farm here. Grabs himself a blue buff as well. The Chiefs still ahead in the gold. As Radiant looking to try and push down the last remaining outer turret. Ejim, that Dark Passage going to spot Moss. Death Sentence not going to find the mark.
Lloyd is just huge right now. 2-1 and 3 on this Kog'Maw has reasonably close CS to that of the Sivir, who's got the Infinity Edge now, but did not have that for the last fight. So Lloyd's only going to get stronger from here, working towards that 2-item power spike that Kog'Maw's know and love. G4's got a Luden's Echo as well, so his wave clear is well and truly in place to match that of Swiffer, and should be able to keep that Twisted Fate down, honestly.
Yeah, the only thing that's saving Swiffer right now is a longer lane, so he can kind of stack the creeps, clear them all out, make sure that G4 has to do this, walk back to where his turret is, because there still is the roam potential that can come out of Ejim. You need to be careful here, teleport.
Yeah, Moss looking for a pulverize. The play comes down but doesn't find anyone. G4 with the teleport, but not going to get in there.
That's a lot of effort for a pink ward, I'm not going to lie. They really wanted that one. We saw Ejim about a minute ago throw down a Dark Passage in the bush and place a ward so that he could kill the pink.
Yeah, looking for the Destiny. There it is. Warlock going to get Flash Twisted advanced as well. If he survives this, that's a lot of stuff down for the Chiefs, but they are going to pick it up. Death Sentence as well in the bottom lane here as the plays down. Box is there as well. Moss has to use the ultimate. There's the flash. Headbutts right here underneath the turret who flashes on top of the Dark Passage. Moss with only a little bit more to go. Swiffer's here as well. Where'd you come? You were in the top lane as Lloyd. He's going to get taken down. Double kill for Radier and the Chiefs. They're all over this map.
Just like that. The power of this Twisted Fate, something that needs to be addressed
here. They can keep going, by the way. This is not over. Swiper fell in the top lane in the meantime. No teleport available from G4 because he used it to grab a pink ward. And all of a sudden, the Chiefs open up the map. This is how we're used to seeing them play Twisted Fate. Why fight when you can just take turrets?
Exactly, and that teleport being down was the big go button for Swiffer because there was no answer available. So they go top lane straight away, uses that ultimate to get to the top lane. Now he has the teleport, which is a cross-map feature of this champion. On top of that, his global presence is, yeah, I'm sure I'm selling it. Radier gets knocked under the turret by Moss, but he can get out to safety very easily. Swiffer then uses his teleport. Red Cards tries to AoE Moss, of course, but the numbers advantage out of this Chiefs side everywhere on the map at the exact same time just gives them this snowball back to above even now.
And what you have to point out there is how accelerated Spooks was. He's already on the Locket of the Iron Solari. G4
Yeah, going in onto Egypt here, gets hit by the charm. Not going to get the true damage of the Orb of Deception as Spooks finds his way in as well. There's the Destiny. As he gets in on top of G4, moves out of the way of the spells here as Swiffer. He's going very aggressive. The charm lands once again. Warlock's here, and G4 just going to take him down. A little bit overly aggressive. There's the, oh my goodness, the W down for Spooks as he finds his way in onto Warlock. Death Sentence pulls Ejim over the top now. As Meganart gets a double into the wall. Radier on the backside though, going to take down Warlock, and Ejim says, that was calculated, guys.
He said that was way too close for comfort. All of a sudden, the collapse from Moss. This may not be over. No, he does back away. Chiefs breathe a big sigh of relief. That was a lot used and not very much gained at all.
And speaking of sigh of relief, G4 would have been making one himself. Swiffer with the over-aggressive decision. He waited for G4 to use that last Spirit Rush before he committed to finishing the ultimate over the wall. But by doing so, he also gave G4 a free way to escape, just save the charm until a predictable area.
Well, he just finished Zonya's Hourglass as well, so I could imagine wanted to get in there early, but the charm, the duration was just a little bit too long with the extra damage of Warlock as well.
Yeah, I still think he could have used it earlier and just gone on that spot of the wall to zone G4 from going there.
Potentially as 007X tries to take down Raptors, not going to be able to here with the base dive over the wall. Spooks, he's going to net him that kill.
That's another example you feel as the Chiefs just getting caught up in what is right now a Bangkok Titans game. When did they look the best? When they beat them around the map? When are they falling down? When the Bangkok Titans are just able to take team fights, skirmish, all the little things that they do so well, like the layering of the CC, managing the Gnar Rage Bar. And if they continue to channel farm onto this Kog'Maw, onto G4's Ahri, it's going to be a very hard game to win late for the Chiefs because they're really ramping up now.
Yeah, the late game strength of this Bangkok Titans team, even the teleport choice by the Ahri in the middle lane answers the Twisted Fate and the Maokai alike. So the 1-3-1, Ejim's low.
The flash again to safety there, was burning down, but does have the extra shield.
G4 used the ultimate once again. Swift Swiper in the top lane. Dragon is about to come back up. Mid-lane turret probably indefensible from the Kog'Maw, and the Chiefs are going to lose another structure.
You feel like this game's going to come down to one big fight. This Dragon could be a point of contention for both of these teams. The Phantom Dancer has been completed.
Once again. Like, honestly, they've got the Maokai there for the guaranteed CC. Just send everyone towards the top lane.
That's where their vision is as well, so they could actually just work the Baron.
Oh, there's going to be a ping out onto Radier here, who is in the top side of the map. Second Dragon for both teams is available, but no one looking at it just yet.
Yeah, and the Bangkok Titans know, like they would recognize how the Chiefs play League of Legends. The Chiefs don't want to fight. It's not late game yet. Just continue to try and shove Bangkok Titans around the map, and the good response in the end comes out. They 5-man collapse towards their blue buff. They'll fight anywhere. This is the difference.
Yeah, Bangkok Titans, they just want the engages, but it also pulls them away from the Dragon by putting all of this added pressure towards the top side. And again, not only is it towards the top side, it's away from Bangkok Titans' vision towards the Chiefs.
Pretty huge out of Swiffer here, who does have his 2 items already completed. 007X taking a bit of damage from the Wildcards. The Chiefs trying to get some poke in there.
Medium also very low. G4 has the ultimate available.
Titans with the vision control around this Dragon area, sweeping out ward after ward as well.
And they're pinging out one more time to Meganart. They want to collapse onto him.
The Dragon's gone. It's 100% going to go down. The Chiefs are trying to make a trade, and this is what I mentioned earlier. They're playing towards their own vision. They're not going to dive deep needlessly into the Bangkok Titans team.
Well, Moss just going to pulverize for fun as the Chiefs move, as you said, towards that top lane, towards more objectives that they can try and take down. You can see Swiffer trying to cut off the response from the Bangkok Titans, but I have a feeling they'll probably get there. So we're going to take about half of itself.
Oh my god, what?
The charm goes in. Spirit Rush, of course, is now on cooldown from G4.
Look at the bottom lane, however. Spooks needs to be careful, but that's a lot of CS going missing.
Oh, nice dodge with the charm there as Spooks. Pretty tanky at the moment. Takes the Dark Passage, but going to get stopped. King said it looked like it was in slow motion after the cast.
Big creep wave in the bottom lane is about to run into the turrets. Chiefs are flirting with danger here. But they're just trying to keep the pressure. G4 wants to respond. He has the teleport. Chiefs really want this turret.
They should be able to get this turret. They had the pressure of their own teleports. They could have looked towards splitting, but they want to group as 5 members to take this one down. They've got a Lich Bane on top of the Twisted Fate. and they've got a Sivir who takes down objectives like they're nothing, but instead, they've shown their strength in side wave control. Now is the time for them to get items whilst they've still got the lanes pushing.
What they are going to pick up, needlessly large rod now in Swiffer's hands. Righteous Glory for Swiper as well. They can engage on some of these fights. It is going to be Radier picking up that Vampiric Scepter, looking to keep himself alive in the skirmishes as well. Continued to have a bit of a CS advantage. Now 3-1 and 3 on the Sivir.
There's just magic damage everywhere else on the team, so it's very hard for Warlock to go an aggressive item first and then straight away into magic, into armor. So Radier quite confident the fact that he's going to get a Bloodthirster before he has to go for that last Whisper. And we're going to see now whether the Chiefs can continue to shove around the map. Honestly, Bangkok Titans have shown that they're no stranger to this macro gameplay. They're rotating around very nicely, making sure they're sending the Ahri elsewhere, and she can respond really quickly with the teleport. That's why I like having a teleport mid lane, because all of a sudden your initiator, your big tanky front line, he doesn't have to leave the team. It's an Ahri that shoves out the wave really quickly and then can join back up.
G4, it seems like no matter what champion he's on, he's going to the inner side.
They really want him. They really want him. They're keeping Swiper there. Swiffer is also there. Righteous Glory, they're going in.
Yeah, Destiny's being popped into the bottom lane here as G4. Yep, he's so dead.
There is no way for him to split push against this Twisted Fate if there is another member available. The assassination out of a Twisted Fate, if there's reliable crowd control to ensure the gold card, if the charm can't disrupt everything, it's just ridiculous. His damage needs to be respected right now from Bangkok Titans.
And the way they used to describe it, and I know I'm going to get the names wrong here, it's deliberate, is Twisted Fate is Swiper's favorite mid laner as they go again.
Yeah, Warlock looking to build up that rage as well. 007X doesn't get the flash body slam as Swiper trying to trade his life for his mid laner. Oh, it's beautiful to watch. Bangkok Titans take down the tree.
But they get 2 turrets for it. In the end, the Chiefs come out huge. They trade 1 for 1, get 2 turrets. Unless Bangkok Titans can pull the miracle and grab a Baron in the 30 seconds that Swiper is down, definitely a 1 trade there for the Chiefs.
And they've still got control of the Baron pit area. The Chiefs have not left this area, and Bangkok Titans, they've got wards down. It's not enough to say, we made a pick, go to the Baron.
Yeah, and trees are going to fall as well. You know, can't save every single one of them.
But I can try out.
Certainly can. Lloyd going to take himself down some Raptors here. Outside of the Rift is going to be Spooks doing the same. So the Chiefs now looking for their next point of contact. They've got a lot of deep wards here on the top side of the Bangkok Titans jungle. See whether that means anything to do with the back.
Or whether they once again fish to the pick with the double teleporters.
Yeah.
See whether they can use the Destiny to get on top of G4, because you feel if they can continue to chip him down, he's so much of their damage right now. Sure, Cogmore's massive, especially as soon as he finishes up that Phantom Dancer, but G4 is the only real threat to Radier as these fights continue.
Yeah, so Warlock should be the one split pushing then. He's the one that has stacked magic resistance to deal with Maokai. It's harder to kill them if Swiffer comes to the bottom lane. At the very least, Warlock will live for an extra second.
I can't get over how tanky Spooks is.
He's so big. 3-1 and 3 now as well. Locket of the Iron Slari completed. Almost a Bloodthirster there for Radier. Yeah, 2 and 3 for Radier as well. Copying one another.
We'll see now where the Chiefs want to fight. Looks like they're trying to control the bottom side of the map. They want to stop Dragon.
Dangerous prospect to consider here, though, from the Chiefs. If they get caught out of position, Bangkok Titans have got the inside lane towards this turret, so thankfully they get to safety, but really, they're in a point where they can be basically at a power point. Lloyd has gone towards the Phantom Dancer.
Yeah, Lloyd's massive.
Parallel convergence could be used here by Spooks, just to deter Bangkok Titans.
And once again, G4 is a split pusher. I like the fact that he can clear lanes. Don't get me wrong. If the Chiefs set up a siege, G4 should go deal with it. If it's on the other side, it should be the Bangkok Titans mid laner with his team, and Warlock can teleport in because he can manage that rage bar. Right now, it's just so risky. Every time you send the Ahri, Twisted Fate can show up and just sniper off the map.
Yeah, the engage becomes predictable as well, as you can see the Nah managing his own rage. You know when it starts to cap out, Moss will be the one to go in, so you can be very particular about when you're going to fight. And if there's one thing we can consider from this game now is that Chiefs don't want to fight unless it's on their own terms.
Exactly right. They just want to keep taking turrets. It's going to take so long.
Yeah.
Wow.
Showing his dominance is the Alpha Bull.
Interesting one. just likes having
Chiefs are going to
little
shove out
shields.
mid lane and see if they can get the top lane turret. You can see Swiper doing the same thing simultaneously.
They don't know that he ulted at least.
Oh, parallel convergence. There's the death sentence onto G4. Man, is that skill aptly named as Zanar is onto both of the tanky members of the Chiefs. Back he goes. In there is the Echo as the gold card's down. Lloyd gets exploded on the backline. Swiffer grabs his first kill. Moss wishes he had an ultimate. Just going to rampage his way up the mid lane to stop that creep wave. And the Chiefs think, yeah, we're grabbing Baron.
Yeah, Ejim, the only person to fall. They're going for the Baron. This is still risky. 20 seconds on G4 and teleport is available. We'll see whether they can get it done in time.
And no summoner spells with the Cogmore, though, when he comes back up and he doesn't have himself a teleport. Moss, he's heading his way back to base. No vision, and this is going to be the Baron for the Chiefs.
This should be the Baron, and on the back of a smart play, they worked around a pick off the Echo power with a Thresh hook. They've got a Twisted Fate stun, so they've got a lot of guaranteed pick to make as long as they have vision.
There was a pink ward in that brush. That was completely blind.
Oh no, the hook was, no, there's a ward in the Raptor camp,
yeah, I'm still
so it was very easy to predict timing. It was about a 2-second window. You just aim where there's 3 members.
Let me be impressed.
Sorry, I'm justifying things too much. My bad.
So let's take another look at it. No ward in the Raptor camp. I can't see one. It was on the other side of the river. So we'll see whether after this impressive display from the Chiefs, the Bangkok Titans can hit back. That was Swiffer on the back line. All of a sudden, Lloyd probably wishing that Phantom Dancer was a QSS because he is quite far ahead. And he needs to make sure that he can put out consistent damage. And that's a frozen heart from Moss. Once again, really have to disagree with that itemization. Swiffer, though.
Yeah, he might be taken down here. There's the Zonyas as Spooks finds his way in. He's going to have the phase dive, and Swiffer flashes out of the way of the true damage.
Yeah. Ejim in some trouble as well. Radiant trying to help out his support.
In he goes with the death sentence. Acathian Surprise will probably be able to take down the threat. But Moss might be in trouble. Double teleports coming in here as Swiper going to be able to help out his AD carry. G4 comes around, but my goodness, loses half of his health from the Bloodthirster on this Sivir.
And that is honestly the most worth trade that they could have gotten. The fact that Swiffer lived in the 1v1, uses the Zonyas on that last Spirit Rush from G4, flashes out of the queue, and gets the safety to teleport back in to help his team one more time. Working wonders for this team because they've got that Baron buff. Top's already been pushing. Swiper's postured for it.
They probably get 1 card on the turret here though because they are back available. They don't even get that. They need to run.
Yeah, Bangkok Titans are going to be able to pressure them away from this one. So Baron buff hasn't necessarily been utilized completely here, but it's a 7,000 gold lead for the Chiefs. Still definitely in control. The Dragons might be a place where the Bangkok Titans can still try and claim themselves a win condition, but 007X, he could be in a bunch of trouble. Wildcard's coming in. Radiant just crits his face off. G4 off to the backside, does have the Spirit Rush gold card, not going to find him just yet. So many skill shots following this Fox Lady as Death Sentence doesn't find the mark either. Staying thematically correct is Ejim with how that one went. And there's the Destiny Swiffer actually right on top of Moss, who does have the ultimate this time around. Zonya's back off cooldown as Moss.
Oh my god, Swiffer.
Have that one run out. Voidu's not going to find Swiffer. Acathian Surprise going to explode onto the Twisted Fate as he gets taken down, but Warlock going to be the next focus here as Spooks going to get the speed up, and man, that Gnar does not look like the tank that they need at the moment.
And all they need to do is protect the flanks, make sure G4 can't get in, and this should be the base broken for the Chiefs.
Whoa, my
Ejim
goodness.
just missing a hook.
Nice spell shield there as well. Oh, Explosive Cask actually going to get the minions out of the way here as G4 might need to be a bit careful as Swiper trying to do what he can. They break the base. The inhibitor now is going to be the focus. Swiper can't really do too much here.
G4 is trying really hard.
Yeah, G4 actually so much damage.
They need to get out of the base. Everyone's respawned. Teleport is available for Warlock. This is dangerous.
Yep, heal is actually going to be popped here as there's the headbutt pulverized. Exhaust is down under Radiant, avoids the skill shots from G4 as Radiant trying his very best to try and get on top, but the shutdown comes in for the Ahri.
Now there's no Baron available to be taken, but they're getting some picks and getting some control back on the map. Most of this game has come down to who makes the better pick at the better time, and so far it's been the Chiefs, but Bangkok Titans, they bite back one more time, and they get the pick that they're looking for. This Ahri is playing hyper aggressive, and with a build like that, it's always a flight risk, but he's skirting around the edges to perfection.
Yeah, he certainly is. He played that inhibitor fight so well there, G4. Been loving watching him go up against the mid laners at this IWCQ tournament. But once again, Lloyd just not positioning very well. 007X getting caught out. Their vision control is letting them down. Bangkok Titans, if they ever get a fair team fight, they're still going to win it. But the Chiefs trying to not make it happen.
I just don't get why he's gone for a Phantom Dancer. Spawn?
So Phantom Dancer is actually technically a higher DPS item if your W is up.
Yeah, but he needed a QSS.
He did. He's got one now.
Yeah, but he didn't. And they lost a lot when he didn't.
He certainly did. I question the order as well. I really question the order as well. I'm actually with Rusty on this one just because Kog'Maw does such high damage through his kit, through the Sheen proc. He doesn't really need all these overloaded items. Sure, he hyperscales off them, but being able to stay safe on that backline would have been much more appropriate. Once again, the Chiefs don't really give a damn that the Dragon's up. They just want to keep pushing into the base.
Yeah, keeping in mind Swiffer doesn't even have his teleport right now. It's just the ultimate, so he cannot close this entire distance yet. Might be mind gaming, but the fact that there's no inhibitor means
Qualifier can.
He's looking for a Nexus or something here, really, Swiffer.
Yeah, Spooks is finding his way in here as well. Might be able to steal that one away. Not going to grab it. Chrono Break's going to get Spooks out to safety.
And now can they stop the backs?
Yeah, that is a very good point. Oh, Radier actually blowing the
Warlock's
ultimate
gone.
here as well. Takes the Dark Passage.
They go-
Lloyd!
Oh.
My goodness, there's the flash body slam though as Radier with a fantastic spell shield. Moss going to get over the wall as Lloyd. What the heck? Where has Radier been? That crit was ridiculous as G4
Swiffer's winning the
finds his
game.
way in. Yeah, Swiffer is just going to take down the Nexus. And look, this is what Detonation Focus Me needed to remember, that you win League of Legends by killing the Nexus.
And the Chiefs do exactly that. They somehow, they fight for the Dragon. Bangkok Titans, what were you thinking?
And this is what we expected teams to do against the Bangkok Titans. Look how well they team fight. Cannot stress that enough. But the Chiefs just said, we don't care. We're going for the Nexus.
I think you said this perfectly, though, is Detonation Focus Me can take some notes down from that game. You win the game by killing the Nexus.
And that's what they hard committed on, you know. They even threw Radier to the Wolves. Never thought they would see that happen. Chiefs shake hands with the Bangkok Titans, move up to 2-1. 3-1 now?
3-1.
3-1.
Yeah, so clear top of the table.
And I want to see the update on the hype train.
And
that's what I really want to see.
2 red side victories.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe we're switching polarity?
Yeah, today's a red side day. Yesterday was a blue side day.
I was feeling pretty red today, yeah.
Feeling red?
Yep.
Okay, well, I dress in blue today, and all of a sudden it's just the wrong way around.
I can't really say anything. I'm wearing blue.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Red side day. Yay.
Yeah, we're not really celebrating this one correctly here, but congratulations to the Chiefs, and it was just better decision-making at the end of the game, and Bangkok Titans weren't expecting just to flat-out lose.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you could see exactly what they were setting up for. As soon as they got that first Dragon, they didn't want to hard commit to it anymore because it was no longer on the clock. And every single time Dragon was up, it was just what can we get while they commit to it? Because they know that is where Bangkok Titans expect the Chiefs to be. Instead, Chiefs rotate well around the map. And this is what we said. Bangkok Titans need to force Chiefs to fight them. If it's ever a game where the Chiefs feel like they can run around the map, it's just going to go in their favor.
Yeah, and what I really love to see from the Chiefs here as well is the fact that IWCI that happened a few months ago, the Chiefs, they looked like they were being dictated to. They weren't sort of getting a step ahead of their opponents. This time, they are thinking about what's going on. They're avoiding dragon fights. They're moving around the map. Otherwise, they're doing not what is expected of them on the Rift, despite like even further on from just being able to lane swap this time around.
And so this is what I would almost call China-esque of them, is that they're trading. They're not just fighting for things. Bangkok Titans, they're a side that want to fight for things. So the adaptation has been put in place by this Chiefs side, and they look really refined today.
Yeah, they most certainly do. But to hear a little bit more about that game and to go through some of those sweet plays, let's throw it out to the War Room.
Thank you so much, guys. And a great set from the Chiefs. What a back